Hi guys, welcome back to I Speak English. My name's Haley, and in this lesson I'm going to be showing you 5 textbooks to help you prepare for your Cambridge C1 exam. So if you're looking for a textbook and you're not sure which one to buy, by the end of this lecture you'll know exactly which one suits you best. You don't need all 5 of these textbooks, it's not necessary, one is enough. But I'm going to show you the ones that I use in my classes with my students and that I think are really worth the money. But before I show you, make sure that you're subscribed and that you hit the bell so that you get a notification every time I upload a new video. New videos every Saturday, so if you want to carry on learning every week, make sure you hit that bell and you won't miss a single lesson. Alright, so click the subscribe button now and let's get started. Alright, so 5 textbooks to buy for your Cambridge C1 exam. So before we take a look at those textbooks, first of all, I want you to understand why it's important for you to have a textbook. So you might have heard me say in another lecture that you don't need a textbook and it's not necessary. If you're studying general English or you just want to improve your speaking, it's not necessary. But if you're studying for an exam, particularly a high-level exam, textbooks can be really useful for you for many different reasons. First of all, textbooks give you quite a good breakdown of the exam, so you can see everything that's included, each section, the vocabulary that you need, the grammar you need. They're a really good way to have a kind of clear view of everything that's included in the exam. So that's one benefit. The next benefit is that it kind of gives you a better understanding of which topics are included in the exam. There's always a kind of list of 10 to 15 topics that will probably come up, and most textbooks have those topics included. So it just gives you a better idea of what vocabulary you need to learn. The next reason is grammar. So in a lot of textbooks at the back, they have a grammar section and it includes all the kind of key grammar points that you have to learn and that you need to show to your examiner. The next reason why it's important is just that it helps you study in a bit more of a structured way. So you can take one unit from that textbook every week, let's say, and just study that. So 1 a week for, let's say, 12 weeks is a really nice structured way to study for your exam. And finally, a lot of textbooks do include practice exam tasks. And they're usually a really good quality as well. So it just helps you to get more kind of official exam practice so that you're more familiar with the tasks before you head into the exam. Alright, so now that you know why they're important, let's take a look at these 5 textbooks then. So first up is the Cambridge Handbook for Teachers. Alright, so technically it's not a textbook, it's a handbook, but this is really useful. So most teachers that teach the Cambridge exam use this to give them a better idea of exactly what's included in the exam, but you can access it as well. It's completely free and you can get it on the Cambridge website. I'll put the link in the description below, so click there if you want to access it. So what it includes is it's basically an official guide by Cambridge to every part of your exam. So it gives you a really detailed breakdown of every part of your exam, what's included, what you get tested on, what examiners are looking for. So it gives you a really good idea of the type of things that you need to study and the kind of grammar points, vocabulary points that you need to show to the examiner. And at the end of the handbook as well, there is a full practice test as well as answer sheets. Answer sheets are really important because it shows you exactly what you'll need to write on in the exam. So it can be a bit kind of confusing when you've practiced for the exam on an exam paper, but without the answer sheet. Because in the exam paper goes in the bin at the end of the exam. That's rubbish. So you need to transfer your answers onto your answer sheet in your exam, which they do give you extra time for in listening, but not in reading. So that's really important, okay? Remember, in reading, transfer all of your answers onto your answer sheet, otherwise you won't get the point. Alright, so Cambridge Handbook, super useful. You can get these for all levels of Cambridge as well, not only C1, but definitely head to the Cambridge website, link in the description, click that link, and you can download this for free. All right, next up. This is my favorite book. I use this in all of my lessons, okay? Just FYI, none of this is sponsored. I'm not getting paid to say any of this. These books are books I genuinely use in my lessons with my students, and I recommend them to my students as well. So this book is called Ready for Advanced. I use this in all my classes with my students. I've used it for years and will continue to use it for years. Reasons being, it has a fantastic grammar section at the back where it shows you every single grammar point in detail with examples, so you know exactly what you need to learn. And it's really easy to follow. It's laid out in a very nice, easy to follow way. Some textbooks are just really messy and you don't know what to look at. This is really simple, so you have like vocabulary, grammar, exam tasks. It's great. Speaking of exam tasks, it has really realistic exam tasks. The listening tasks in particular are really good in this textbook. Use of English tasks and reading tasks are brilliant as well. So the exam tasks are really good, and it gives you exam tips as well. So it kind of gives you little strategies of how to do each task, which I think is really good. On Amazon at the moment, it's about €45 just for the textbook. You can also get the workbook as well for an extra €20. So the workbook is like a whole of a textbook with tons of exam exercises and grammar exercises. I would say this is well worth the money if you wanted to buy it. It will kind of keep your study very structured, and it gives you a really good idea of what to expect in the exam. So I would buy this 100% if I was studying on my own for the exam. Again, I'll put the links for every book in the description, okay? So you don't have to search for it. Just click the links in the description, and you'll be able to find it on Amazon. All right, next up. My next favourite book that I use is the Cambridge C1 Exam Booster. Okay, so this is not a textbook in the way that it gives you lots of grammar and exercises and stuff. This includes tons of official Cambridge exam tasks. So this includes about 20 different vocabulary topics, and within each topic you have about 3 different types of exam tasks. And what I like about this is before each exam task, it gives you grammar and vocabulary exercises to test particular points, very common points that appear in those exam tasks. So it's a really nice way of practicing for the exam. And it is officially by Cambridge as well, so you know those exam tasks are correct and they're at the appropriate level for you. So this is about €25 at the moment on Amazon. Again, I'll put the link in the description if you're interested. But for now, we're going to move on to the next textbook that I use, which is Improve Your Skills. So this is a series of textbooks, and they're quite different to other textbooks in that they focus only on one skill of the exam. So for example, you could get one for reading, improve your skills for reading. They have one textbook for writing, one for use of English, and so on and so on. So I think this is a really good way to focus on the parts of the exam that you're weak at or that you really need to improve. Instead of buying one textbook for everything, you buy one for that skill that you're really struggling with. And this really helps. What I like about these books is that they give you really detailed strategies for each part of the exam. So I actually have this textbook here. I genuinely use this kind of for giving my students strategies as well. It's a really lovely book. And inside, basically the way they kind of lay it out, for every unit, you basically have 3 different sections. You have a skills section, which is the exact skill that you need. So for here, for example, for reading part 1, for reading part 7, the skill is reading for gist. So you focus on that skill, reading for gist, and then you also have vocabulary according to a certain topic, and then you have exam practice. So you have multiple exam tasks. And it also helps you to practice. They have other exercises as well that still help you to practice those specific skills, but they're not necessarily exam tasks. They're just kind of similar to exam tasks. Again, for example, like part 8, the skill is reading for specific information. Okay, so you focus in on that skill, then you've got vocabulary, and then you practice. So I really, really like these books. And like I said, you can get one for reading, you can get one for writing, one for listening, whatever you're bad at, you can just kind of focus in on that one skill. So I would really recommend these. It's €23 for one book, which I think, again, is really worth it. There's a lot of valuable strategies in these books that I've found really useful for my students, to kind of giving them advice on how to do different strategies. 100% would buy one of these books if I was preparing for the exam. Again, the link's in the description if you're interested in buying that. And onto our final textbook. This is the English in Use series. So they do like a bunch of textbooks. You've got one for collocations here, you've got one for phrasal verbs, you've got one for vocabulary, for grammar. So again, depending on what exactly you want to learn, you can buy one of these books and really focus in on that thing. I would suggest the collocations or the phrasal verbs book because they're both brilliant. I have both of them. And again, they're really nicely laid out. So they give you a topic, very specific vocabulary topic. For the English in Use books, you actually have 50 different vocabulary topics, which is a lot. But again, it goes really in detail in each topic. They give you the vocabulary in context. So they'll give you a lot of texts, or they'll give you conversations between people. And you can see the collocations and how they are used. That's why it's called in use, because they give you genuine context and use of these collocations. So it's really helpful. So you get a bunch of examples and how to use them. You have common mistakes sections as well, for kind of common errors that speakers make all the time with different collocations. And then you get a whole page of exercises to practice all of the collocations that you learn in each unit. So it's really useful for collocations because they're so difficult to learn. One, because there's so many of them, and two, it's like, well, which ones do I need to learn for Cambridge C1? How do I find out which collocations are for Cambridge C1 and which are for B2? This textbook has all the collocations you need to know for C1 and even more. So it's super useful. It's €27 on Amazon. Again, the link's in the description if you want to buy it. And just a kind of quick note, you don't need to buy every single book here. It's not necessary. If I were you, I would buy one general one. So maybe Ready for Advanced, because it's really good kind of on the whole, gives you a really, really good breakdown and you can practice every part of the exam. And then I would buy a specific book for a specific skill that you're struggling with. So whether it's kind of the reading book, whether it's the collocations book, I would say focus on one skill that you're really struggling with, and those books will probably help you. Okay, so they are my 5 textbooks for helping you prepare for the Cambridge C1 exam. If you found this video useful, please do give it a like. It helps it to reach more people so that they can get useful tips for their Cambridge exam as well. And as usual, make sure that you're subscribed and you hit the bell so that you can get weekly lessons from me every Saturday. If you have any questions about the Cambridge exam or English in general, just leave me a comment and I'll get back to you when I can. And that's all from me. I'll see you in a video soon. Right, bye.